Hey there, quirky folks! Thor Love and Thunder is taking leaps at the box office right now. But we've got to say that it certainly isn't MCU's best work. The reviews are quite mixed, as the critics seem to have hated it almost as much as The Dark World. Love and Thunder has a few amazing moments for us to cherish, but it raises quite a few questions as things don't really make a whole lot of sense. Spoiler warning for those who haven't seen the movie yet. Go watch it and come back to watch this video, because things are going to get intense here. Okay now, continuing with spoiler talk. One of the biggest questions that people have after watching Thor 4 is, why exactly didn't Thanos seek Eternity to balance the universe? In fact, why didn't the Avengers try to reach Eternity to fulfill their desire of bringing everyone back? Thor Love and Thunder has seemingly made Infinity War and Endgame kinda pointless. Going through the movie, we found out that Infinity War and Love and Thunder actually have quite a few similarities. And most of those similarities came with the villains. Infinity War brought in Thanos, whose motivations rose from his personal suffering. His own planet died because it ran out of resources, so he couldn't let the same thing happen to the entire universe. He wanted to balance the universe by killing off half its population randomly. So he went from planet to planet and began to kill off half of their populace. But then he came to know of the Infinity Stones and their collective powers, so he sought to collect all 6 of them, as his one planet at a time plan was moving too slow. And he ultimately sneaked in his victory by defeating Thor at the height of his powers. Now in Love and Thunder, we had Gorr, whose motivations also rose from his personal suffering. His daughter died, and the god that he believed in did nothing to save her or his people. Instead, he found out that the gods are pretty selfish and outright douchebags. So, he wanted to bring balance to the universe by getting rid of all the gods. He went from planet to planet and began to kill gods one by one. But his one god at a time plan was also too slow. And while torturing gods, he found out about a faster way to accomplish his goal through Eternity. You see, Eternity is a very powerful being at the center of the universe. It will grant the desire of the first person who reaches it. And guess what? Even Gorr won against Thor, as he became the first person to reach Eternity. But thankfully for all gods, Thor did not lose here like he lost in Infinity War. He and Jane managed to convince Gorr to choose love instead of vengeance. This plan of Gorr seeking Eternity to fulfill his wish has been slightly altered from the source material. In the books, he was going after a god bomb that would kill all gods instead of Eternity. But anyway, MCU fans are really trying to wrap their heads around why Thanos didn't use Gorr's plan. Why didn't he go after Eternity instead of the Infinity Stones? He spent years and years looking for Infinity Stones. It took a lot of time and effort for him to gather all of them, as he almost died right before snapping his fingers. But instead, he could have become the first being to just reach Eternity and ask her to reduce the universal population by half. Even Eternity's plan was a one-and-done deal, so no one could have reversed it by asking for another wish. Thanos is supposed to be a highly knowledgeable cosmic being, so he had to know about Eternity, right? There could be a few explanations that we could come up with to answer this question. The most obvious one is that Marvel didn't write this wish-granting Eternity plan until after Endgame, so that's why Thanos couldn't have known. But this is one of the reasons why I don't appreciate Thor 4's short runtime. It doesn't take the right amount of time to explain anything in detail. But moving on to logical narrative explanations, a simple one could be that Thanos just came to know about the Infinity Stones first. So collecting them became his life's big mission at once, and he didn't stop to consider anything else. Maybe Thanos didn't know about Eternity's wish-granting powers because this information was only known to gods. But he made a deal with Loki, who certainly should have known about the legend of Eternity. After all, both Valkyrie and Thor knew about it in Love and Thunder, so he should have too. And he could have kept this info secret from Thanos. Or maybe he told him about it, but Thanos didn't know how to reach the center of the universe, and he couldn't find out what the key to reaching Eternity was. Or maybe he just did not believe in the legend of Eternity. That could be why he did not go after the wish-granting cosmic being. But it will still take a lot of suspension of belief from our side to let this one go. I mean, this quest to find Eternity does make Infinity War a bit pointless. But guess what? It makes Avengers Endgame's whole time travel charade even more pointless. The Avengers actually had to go back to different points in time in order to collect all stones. And they did this when they had Thor on their team. In fact, even Valkyrie knew about the legend of Eternity. So in the 5 years after Infinity War, shouldn't Thor and Valkyrie have tried to seek Eternity? Shouldn't they have discussed this plan with the other heroes instead of acting like total failures? Tony and Natasha could have still been alive, and Eternity would have brought every snap victim back to life very easily. One could argue that maybe Thor and Valkyrie tried this out, and they just didn't know about the key to reaching Eternity. But again, this one's hard to believe as well, because Thor had the key right in his hands. And there are thousands of gods in the universe who witnessed what Thanos did. Even though the MCU has teased that most gods are douchebags, but we cannot believe that none of them are noble. So at least some of them should have tried to reach Eternity and bring all the snap victims back to life. It is kinda senseless that literally no one went to Eternity to restore the universe to the way it was. Maybe there is one explanation to save Avengers Endgame from this giant plot hole. In the comics, Thanos used the Infinity Gauntlet to fight Eternity. So, the Gauntlet seems to be a weapon that could even take on the embodiment of the entire universe. It is probably stronger than Eternity's powers. And that's why even Eternity could not reverse what it did. That could be the only logical explanation for why no one even bothered to seek Eternity after Infinity War. Why do you think Thanos or the Avengers did not seek Eternity? Let us know in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you agree with our analysis. And don't forget to check out some more fun videos on our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!